This week at Bungie, we take a pass on armor mods and exotics. As we get closer to launch, I can't help but feel we should keep those introductions short and sweet. So with that in mind, I'll keep this to a bulleted list. Have you played Destiny 2 this week? Barely. Check out the epilogue, it's pretty sweet, no spoilers. We have less than 2 weeks until our Destiny 2 showcase. Are you hyped? We are. And we previewed some Season 15 champion mods this week. Miss it? Well, here you go. These are some of the mods that are going into next season. We are missing at least 2. This would be whatever the damage amp is, plus there's typically 1 extra mod. So we'll see what's in store once we actually get our hands on next season. Each season gives exciting opportunity for pieces of the sandbox to move up or down. Activities and encounters are one piece of the puzzle, providing fresh challenges for Guardians to take on with the plethora of tools in their toolbox. This week, the Armor and Expressions team has some notes on how a few of our tools are changing. Some will be slightly more limited in dominating your enemies, but still perfectly viable options to take into battle. Some will get a bit hotter. Team. Hello, your loyal blacksmiths working at our digital forge. Over the next few seasons, we're aiming to bring some exotic armor outliers back into line. Though this does mean that some overperforming favorites are going to get a little off the top, it also means that we get to inject some excitement into some less popular choices. First, we'll start with something that's always been on the top of... We'll start with something that's been top of mind for many controller players since Destiny 2 was released, followed by details on our upcoming balance pass. So this has to do with traction. This has been a kind of a repeat offender over the past, I'd say, years. Traction is a much needed mod if you're on controller. Some people don't even know that traction doesn't do anything for you on mouse and keyboard. It used to give you 5 extra mobility, so you would just slot it on. But nowadays it's more like a targeting adjuster, and the fact that it doesn't really have much effect on a mouse and keyboard user. The traction mod felt mandatory for PvP on controller and unnecessary on mouse and keyboard. Just said this. This felt to be more appropriate as an accessibility option rather than a balance choice. Players, including us, have also long felt that maximum 10 sensitivity wasn't enough on controller, so we're making some changes to bring controller input closer to parity with keyboard and mouse. Added a sprint turn speed scaler option, allowed values to 0.3 to 0.8, and we removed the traction mod altogether. We added additional controller sensitivity options. 1 to 10 sensitivity is the same as before, but we also added increases to 11 to 20. Added an ADS sensitivity modifier that also allows values to 0.5 to 1.5. This is kind of important. Battlefield does this, where you have separate values for your ADS, as well as just your internal speed settings, so this is going to be kind of cool. Super regenerating exotics, we already know that some of these are getting hit pretty hard, which it does need to happen in a way. Ursa has always been top dog inside of endgame PvE. If you ran Titan, you were forced to run Ursas, right? Because you needed that super. But we'll see how this kind of mixes up the sandbox. We're losing both Anarchy plus a lot of these regenerating exotics going into next season, so it's going to be interesting to see what they're giving back if they're going to take all of this away. The first set of changes coming in Season 15 have to do with exotics that refund super energy. As a group, these exotics tend to outshine other exotic choices, especially in high difficulty endgame activities, just mentioned this. In some cases, they can trivialize the content or make it feel like the only reasonable option to equip for your build. Can't read. Most of our changes here aim to standardize how these exotics work and to place a cap on how much super uptime they can grant by themselves. To offset these changes, some of the perks were reworked to be more generous with their refund minimums. There is also a new member of the family. Shards of Galanor increased the amount of super granted for hits, but total super regain is now capped at 50%. Ursa Furiosa capped the amount of super energy you can regain once your super ends at 50%. Skull of Dire Ahamkara increased the amount of super refunded per kill, but total super gain is capped at 50. Same with Phoenix. Storm Dancer's Brace now also refunds up to 50% of your super energy after your super ends based on the number of kills. And Geomax Stabilizers, we removed the sprint to top off your super. This was something that got me fucked up during the... pardon my French. But this fucked me up during the tournament. I forget what the guy's name was now, but it was that lad was also running a Geo. Yeah, Geomags. And You know, hats off to him because he did find a way to kind of game it, but damn, I wish he didn't game it. This part of the perk led to higher uptime in PvP than was healthy and gave attunement of control warlocks an immediately renewable supply of super energy for paying for mod costs like special finisher in PvE. So with retunes and reworks, the next batch of changes is focused on injecting some more power and excitement into some less popular choices. There are a few exotics that missed the boat this time that need some extra special attention, like a certain pair of hunter boots, and a lot more that could benefit from a nudge or two. So for Hunter, the Bombardiers, the bomb now has a secondary effect based on your subclass type. Blind for Arc, Burn for Solar, Slow for Stasis, and Suppress for Void. That is huge. That means you no longer need a Sentinel in PvP if you're going for suppression against supers. That makes Bombardiers a huge favorite inside of these activities. I mean, even Blind. Slow is going to be cool. You have a lot of good options here. I wonder what Burn is going to be like, but you have a lot of good options. Oh. Hell no. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. No, get fucked. So why even use it? Just so you can stop a Guardian from using their abilities for like 2 seconds? Damn. Never mind. But hey, Slow. That's going to be cool. And a Blind. But get fucked. Void players around the world, around the continent. Get you some, but not this. Get you one of these, or one of those. Maybe even that. Actually, do this. Don't do this. We don't like this anymore, but do this. This is cool. Graviton Forfeit. Increase the bonus invisibility duration. Now, as you guys know, Graviton Forfeit will increase your invisibility by 1 second, but whatever this increase is, maybe 2 seconds, hopefully it's something grandiose like 5 extra seconds. That would be insane. The melee regeneration speed now increases based on the number of enemies near you. That's huge. While you are invisible, your recovery is greatly increased and your weapons reload more quickly. Huge. Graviton Forfeit is one of those kind of neat exotics to use when you're doing something solo. Especially these solo flawless runs of like a dungeon or even endgame nightfalls. So it's going to be cool to kind of play around with Graviton. Lucky Pants is also something I really wanted them to look into. Added intrinsic hand cannon holster mod, replace previous functionality with the following. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or damage matching your subclass energy type, for a short time, each hit against a combatant from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot. No, Hawkmoon won't be able to one-shot a raid boss using these legs. Other hand cannons will get a fun edge in combat though. So this could bring in some interesting things inside of the sandbox. We wanted a hand cannon nerf, but then you give hand cannons an extra leg up. So this is kind of weird. So that means we may necessarily see another aggressive hand cannon meta. I mean, hunters already dominate PvP across the board. In terms of dominate, I mean the player numbers, not necessarily the win rate, right? Obviously that goes to warlocks and top tree. But this is going to be interesting to see. A lot of year 1 hand cannons can also make a return, because some things that hold a year 1 hand cannon back is just they lack that extra perk that probably would have set it off into a different realm. You'll see a lot of adaptives return that people didn't necessarily know about. So this will be a cool change. I don't necessarily agree with this, but we have to actually see what it's like on paper and see how it actually affects the sandbox inside of PvP. But I am excited to see this actually in action inside of PvE, so that's going to be cool. What is a hand cannon holster mod? A new kind of mod that reloads stowed weapons. More on that below. That's interesting. So I wonder what will happen to something like Peacekeepers if we have holster mods, no? Titan, Precious Scars will now also create a burst of healing and bonus recovery around you whenever you kill an enemy with a weapon whose damage type matches your subclass type. Wow. Icefall Mantle, remove the slower class ability recharge scaler. Huge. So I might actually use Precious Scars, because that's a kind of cool and neat team-oriented exotic, but nobody really used it, and we were trying to figure out how we would use it inside of endgame PvP, and there was no real reason to do that unless say that you're really fast in your inventory and just swap to your helmet and then pick the guy up, res him, and then swap off the helmet. But that was way too sweaty. I don't imagine people doing that. I haven't seen any videos of people doing that, but it was an interesting theory. It just never got put into play. For Warlock, Verity's Brow changed to trigger when you get a weapon kill that matches your subclass energy type. Wow. Increased grenade damage bonus to 20% per stack, up from 10. Pretty neat. The stag grants damage reduction. Wow. Reduction to allied guardians standing in your rift. So that you might see stag a hell of a lot more in your endgame PvP or PvE, or even PvP. Fuck. That's 15% more damage reduction against players. That might be really huge. 25% against combatants. You guys don't understand how good and impressive damage mitigation is inside of an RPG. Like, you need that. So I am probably gonna ask my warlocks to play around with stag. See how that goes. Prometheum Spur has additional functionality. While standing in a rift, solar weapon kills give you class ability energy. When your class ability energy is full, solar weapon kills consume that energy and spawn a combination healing/empowering rift at the target's location. I have always wanted an exotic that was like this. Huge. Keep your eyes open for any other changes to come in the wake of these as well. Our goal for the next few seasons, especially following the launch of the Witch Queen, is to increase the variety of fun and powerful choices available to players in PvE and PvP alike. Onto Finders, Scavengers, and Holsters. We know that Scavengers should get hit with a mod or a nerf, right? We are rolling out some changes to mods that affect the ammo economy. Running double ammo scav mods makes it easy to have 100% uptime with special weapons in both PvP and PvE. In PvP specifically, we believe this is an important factor in how oppressive certain special weapons feel. Reducing their effectiveness is a step towards addressing this. We're prepared to revisit this depending on how it plays out when it's in the wild. We're also looking how to improve Ammo Finder to make it a bit easier to earn special and heavy ammo in PvE, while introducing a new type of leg armor mod that reloads stowed weapons. Huge. So Ammo Finder now have an increased chance to spawn ammo on kills with primary weapons and a further chance with exotic primaries. Huge. Multiple copies of scavenger mods of the same type no longer stack. Huge. So unfortunately, for people that kind of follow my sort of build philosophy over the past 2 seasons, stop doing this. I ran double scav because I knew that this was a very oppressive thing to do inside of PvP, and I've been doing it for a while. Nobody stopped me, and they only furthered my playstyle when they added scav mods that only required 1 energy to actually slot. So kinda don't do that. Or don't do it anymore. Or maybe don't do it at all. If you will. No more. Just stop doing it. Holster, this is a new type of leg armor mod that will gradually reload stowed weapons of the matching type over time. Why can't I read today? Multiple copies of holster mods of the same type will increase the rate of ammo. I might just go to bed in a second. The following weapon types will have holster mods. All of them. All of them will. But not you, Arianas. And rocket, breech-loaded grenade launcher, and bows will not have these because that has, there's only one. Warmind cells. The TLDR is that Warmind cells are too goddamn good. Stop it. To be blunt, these are currently too powerful. This isn't a surprise. Even at their introduction, we knew they were very strong. That was the point. At the time these were created, they were only expected to last for about a year, so we could push the envelope on something cool and flavorful, knowing that they wouldn't be around breaking things forever with the force of Rasputin's explosive wrath. They would have a time to shine, but eventually leave and make room for the next exciting thing. Now, they are able to remain viable in endgame content indefinitely. We feel it's necessary to bring them down to be more in line with what the rest of the sandbox is capable of. If we didn't, it would cause an ongoing problem for activity design and weapon rewards. This is talk about power creep, and this is it's a very complicated thing to address. Hopefully they didn't do anything too crazy. When dealing with power creep, if you're taking something, you have to give something back. And if you're saying that you're trying to reel something back in to make it in line with everything else, then you have to make sure that everything else is viable. You can't just, well, we're going to bring this back with everything else, but if you were nerfing everything, then what's the point? You have to have something that's worthwhile in your endgame. Base Warmind cells reduce the radius of the explosion/effect range of Warmind cells from 10 to 6 meters. Wow. Reduce damage of the explosion of Warmind cells. Previously, it was 200 to 400. It will now be to 50 to 250. God damn. Global reach. Increase the mod cost to 3 and reduce the amount of radius increase from 20 to 10. So now you only get 20 meters from effect mods, which is crazy. Cellular suppression. Reduce the duration of the suppressing effect when using cellular suppression from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. You will notice this in a gunfight. That might not seem like much, but the same thing with Graviton Forfeit. 1 second can make a lot of difference in a firefight. Just saying. Wrath of Rasputin. Reduce the bonus cellular damage previously from 100 to 200. Now 25 to 100. Damn. Elemental wells are not too good, right? I've been asking people to find me a build with Elemental Well because I kind of wanted to use it so I can wean myself off of Charged with Light, because people don't think Charged with Light is very good, but as a PvP player now, it's pretty nice to have Charged with Light and, you know, extra stats at the cost of nothing, with the added benefit of another, you know, perk if it comes with that. So, with Elemental Wells, 2 Elemental Well mods are getting improvements in order to make them a more competitive choice when compared to other combat styles. Elemental Armaments now has an increased chance to spawn an Elemental Well based on the tier of the enemy defeated. Quantum Might's base duration has been increased to 10 seconds, and increased the damage bonus provided from 10% to 25%, so you're just getting a quarter. Huge. And there you have it. With abilities and armors down, we have one sandbox topic left to cover: weapons. We'll see you again next week for our final Season 15 flight check. Fit for an Iron Lord. That is a neat looking pulse, and I can't wait. And a neat looking sidearm to boot. Definitely gonna like it. Last season, Lord Saladin brought some fresh weapons to the fold for Guardians to earn in the Iron Banner. Reese Walker packed a punch in the Crucible, and Archon's Thunder could go on a rampage in PvE. Next season, 2 new weapons will make their appearance: the Forge's Pledge Pulse Rifle and Peace-Bound Sidearm. Or Peace Bond, even. Each available through vendor packages, bounties, match rewards, and the seasonal Iron Banner quest. But that's not all. It's been some time since Saladin brought a fresh set of armor to earn, pulled from the depths of the Forgotten Seas. These pieces, worn by warriors of the past, are ready for battle once more, introducing the Iron Forerunner set. Kind of cool how they're going back to that Forerunner theme that we've been hearing about. It's not for me. I'm gonna just throw that out there. That ain't my style. Some of you might really like that. That hood for the Hunter kind of looks neat, but I don't. I want Space Marine shit. Give me some Space Marine looking shit. Stop with whatever this is. That, I mean, do it, but don't. I want to look like an Astarte, or any other Space Marine, or any other Space Marine faction in any other sort of media. Do that. Or just make me look like a Spartan out of Halo. That would be cool. Starting next season, we'll be introducing the Iron Lord's Pride intrinsic perk. Through the set, wearing a piece of this armor grants a small chance of an enhancement prism dropping at the end of Iron Banners. Meh. Each additional piece worn increases the chance, capping out at 4 pieces total. Defeat your foes with the fury of an Iron Forge. Show no mercy. Morsi. I'm not reading the rest of that just in case I screw up. Here's some prime rewards. Here's this dumb emote that everybody uses inside of Trials to make you mad. This. Sign up. Do it. Let's see the known issues. But it doesn't look like they're going to talk about any of the known issues going into next season, which is very unfortunate. Players who have a full quest inventory can pick up the As Prophesized quest. I've noticed this. And this has been a thing for the past, well, actually the beginning of the season. At the end of the newest override mission, players should wait for the timer to end and not press anything so they can view a cutscene. Damn. Some messages in the Helm and Elixir Quarter don't show subtitles or names. Sometimes players in a fire team won't be able to view seasonal cutscenes. Yuck. Champions may not spawn in the final boss room of the Warden of Nothing on Grandmaster difficulty. In French, the Exo Strangers weekly challenge incorrectly tells players to defeat enemies using stasis while on Europa. To progress this challenge, players will need to defeat enemies using stasis when not on Europa. That's not good. The Solstice Key fragments remain in some players' inventories after the conclusion of Solstice of Heroes. This happened to me, but I think that's more of an issue due to the player not actually logging in to make sure that those currency items are depleted. The Laconic Ornament for the Last Word ejects bullet casings when firing while the base weapon does not. This, okay. I'm glad that they addressed this because this has been a point of contention within some of the gun nut community. And they always go back to Destiny, and then I see people break out the Last Word, and you're watching an actual casing eject like it was from like a gas-fed automatic rifle. That's huge that they at least figured, hey, this isn't right, we should probably fix that. Kudos to you, Bungie. We're not watching this. Hey, Astacross got movie of the week. Astacross got movie of the week. What? And I believe he got movie of the week because he is not using Anarchy in the setup. He's just playing Glassway the way he wants to play Glassway. And by the way he wants to play Glassway, it's by the way that the mods for the season allowed him. Cheers. Another Grandmaster thingy. And another Grandmaster thingy. And this. And some art. That's some nice art. I know Lily. Good lass. This. And to close, 2 sandbox Twabs down, 1 more to go next week. We've got some fun details on weapons. All I have to say is get ready for a season of the Voop. No, that's not the official name of the season. I'm just excited that Fusion Rifles will have a champion mod next season. Not to mention the upcoming Fusion Rifle changes, which we will cover next week. See you again soon. Cheers. DMGO.